Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jesse and Chris, and soon to be Justin, and we're here to deliver to you for episode 83 everything Star Wars. We have some great news for you, some breaking news on Solo. Justin just joined us here. It just came on tracking, so we're going to talk about those numbers. We're going to talk about brand new anime inspired show that will be on Disney streaming. We also want to talk about some cool things in terms of Star Wars as a whole. Battlefront II, which is a game. What's up with Alden Ehrenreich's contract? And Infinity War, of course. But we're going to put a spin on it because Infinity War just beat out The Force Awakens for that #1 spot. So we'll talk about it, but with that spin on it. And I want to present to you this question. How much would it cost to build a working Millenium Falcon?
Oh my
We'll get into all that later on in the show. So I have showed this infographic before. This is through Random House Books. They do some really cool novels. They're all considered within canon. And this infographic actually does a really great job of breaking down the timeline. So you can see where the movies fall and then where the books fall as well. And it's pretty cool. So over here you have Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and then Revenge. You get into Rogue One, of course, the book for that, the novelization for that, and then the rise of Tarkin, who became Grand Moff Tarkin. Right in between Tarkin and Thrawn, also in between Revenge and A New Hope, is where you'll find Solo. So that's where this story takes place within the Star Wars timeline. Okay, in between Sith and in between A New Hope, and then condense that down further in between the Tarkin and Thrawn novels. One's by Tim Zahn, who's a really great writer in terms of these novelizations. So I wanted to point that out. I thought that was cool. That's a question that I know people have had about where it is kind of within the timeline. But I may be getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let's go over to Justin and Chris, and we'll say hello. And I'm curious, what have you guys been up to since last week? I know there's maybe like a movie you might have seen, or something that people have been talking about. Something might have hit the ears. I don't know what it might be called, but
Well, I will say this: Cobra Kai, the first 2 episodes.
Don't spoil it.
No, I did see Infinity War. It was great, and I will say without spoiling, Cobra Kai is definitely got my interest after the first 2 episodes. I may have to go ahead and do that trial for Red and see how that works out for me because, it's off to a good start. That's what I'll say.
I'm up to episode 3 on it.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's
okay,
got some.
I will start after the show. Okay, I'll start after the show.
So, as far as what I've been up to, just same old. But I did get out to a smaller con, which is called the Little Giant Comics Old School Comic Show, which was really, really cool. It was basically all comics, couple creators. Al Milgrom was there, so I got a couple books signed by him, and then picked up a whole bunch of back issues and stuff. Even found one of my top 10 books for $1. Believe it or not, I did. Sometimes the dollar bin hunting really does pay out for you. And so I just went ahead and had a great time checking through some bins, and then just, enjoying a small con. It was in this small hockey rink. And it was just decent turnout, not tons of people, but, pretty good turnout, lots of traffic throughout the day. And, the best part about it was that you could go ahead, check everything out and pretty much see everything you wanted, get some deals where you could, and not have to spend the whole day there. Just kind of, nice casual con. $5 cover charge to get in. So definitely one I'm going to put on my stop for next year as well. If you're up in the New England area, you need to check that con out. It's a good one.
Yeah, for sure. And it was cool because CBCS actually had a presence there as well.
Yeah, it's the first time they went to New Hampshire, and I was just like, man, I was just like, and I saved some more money. I would have been able to get some. Just because they're never up this close unless it's like Boston Comic Con. So it's just like that one stung a little bit, but it's all right. They'll be back.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They'll be back. So, all right, cool. So you've been busy, and definitely everybody be on the lookout on Boston Chris Comics for that top 10 reveal.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure that will be coming up.
Let me also say I did participate in Fanboy Fight Club. Unfortunately, couldn't bring home the win, but it was a good time. On Lord of the Long Box channel, it was fun. I will say this much for everybody who gets into it: it's a fun time, but just you're in the hot seat, and it's just one of those things where you got to be quick and on your toes when you're debating, just because it's just trying to get the points from those guys is the top priority, and just make sure your argument is solid. But overall, it's a really fun time. Just if you want to get on there and debate, they're looking for people, so go ahead and get on the show. I'm sure we have an announcement about the next week's one a little later on, but I had some fun on that one. So
yeah, awesome. All right, cool. What have you been up to, Justin?
Oh yeah.
Oh, and we do. Actually, before we get into that, we do have a question for Chris.
Okay.
NES Master 80 says, "Did you run into Peter Samedi from Alterna?"
I didn't. I didn't see him at the convention. I was looking and basically once I started Dollarman searching, I kind of got sidetracked. But I was at first looking for him. I think they weren't quite set up because when I went in, it was I think around 10:30. The show started at 10, so not everything was fully set up and ready to go. And then just after that, I was just kind of in comic mode, so I didn't run into him. So I do, and I remember too, saying after I should have done. I was I should have checked for the Alterna, and just I was already on the road back, and I was like, damn it. But
yeah. All right, so there you go, NES. There's your answer. All right, let's kick it back over to Mr. Exile State for a little update, weekly update.
Stuff and things.
Yeah.
Stuff and things. No,
comics
and superhero movies, man. Avengers Infinity War. Does everybody's brain still not hurt? The pain maybe have subsided. So yeah, saw that. Of course, like everybody else, it's a life-changing event for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So much reflection was had that night on the drive home. Getting choked up about it. No, so that was pretty much the weekend. That was a big chunk of what happened last weekend, of course. And put up a fun video for Jesse's contest. If anybody wants to know of the origin of Beta Ray Bill,
yes,
it's there for you.
Yes, via the ballad, Beta Ray Bill.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Other than that, just getting ready for Free Comic Book Day that's coming up on Saturday. It seems like there have been shops or pop culture stores around here that I've never heard of just suddenly pop up with things like, hey, we're doing something on Saturday too, So definitely going to be a fun day. Going to try to hit a whole bunch of different places. So Sunday morning comics this week, everybody. Should be a lot of fun.
Be good.
Yep. Make sure you're there.
Cool. Yeah, definitely a busy weekend. So that kind of leads me into an explanation. That's one of the reasons that we wanted to do a Star Wars celebration episode, because there's so much around it. It did come on to tracking this week for Han Solo, but tomorrow is May the 4th, Star Wars Day. And then Saturday, as Justin mentioned, it's Free Comic Book Day, but it's also what's been affectionately been dubbed Revenge of the 5th. So, basically an extension of the Star Wars Day. And I'll take it off of him. Yeah.
Eventually, I love seeing me, but
let me take my camera off too, if I can. What do I do? Stop. There we go. There I am. Okay. So Saturday is Star Wars Day. It's Free Comic Book Day. It's Cinco de Mayo. It's all these things all rolled into one. So it seems like the perfect time to do something for Star Wars, right?
I'm pumped. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is, and we'll get into it later in the show, but there is actually a book out on Free Comic Book Day, Star Wars Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I believe it's the bronze level. So there's 3 different levels, right? Is that right? There's gold, silver, and bronze.
There's just gold and silver.
Just the gold and silver. Okay.
Yeah.
They used to have bronze. I think there used to be 3 levels. So I guess they changed it.
Yeah, as far as their website, there was nothing listed as that. It's just 50 total books.
Okay. But the interesting thing about that book is it is being put out by IDW.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did. I mentioned that last Sunday on like Sunday morning comments. I kind of went through those, and it was so weird to have that, to outsource that when you have an in-house Marvel-owned company that already does that,
right,
with other Star Wars titles. So it's just, it's really weird unless they went. Maybe IDW has some kind of weird contract where they can get that out in front of younger readers easier than I don't know.
They do. No, they do. We'll talk about it later in the show. So I think we'll shed some light on that mystery. Let's just say that. So
nice.
Yeah. So I bought some books. I got some books to show. Had a bit of a tough week this week. So kind of dealing with some things there. And we have Mr. David. How you doing? Oh, I think you might be muted. I think you might be muted still. Yeah, I think I don't hear any audio.
Nope.
No, it's not working. So. Okay. So while he's working on that, I do want to say he is from a really fantastic podcast. He's part of the community. It's called Beyond the Blast Doors, a Star Wars podcast. Definitely, you guys need to check it out. I'll put a link down below for that so you guys can check it out, after that. Doing weekly contests, and I'm sure he's already very well versed on the things that we wanted to talk about tonight. So being that it's a Star Wars show, we wanted to have somebody who is all things Star Wars. And the first person that came to mind was Beyond the Blast Door. So I'm glad to have you here. And hopefully we can chat with you momentarily. So I guess we'll kind of get right into some of the topics. Let me go ahead and close out of that. First thing we were going to talk about was that the movie came on to tracking. I know there's been some question around how will the movie do, at the box office, being that it's on the heels of Infinity War, Deadpool 2, things like that. But for tracking, and honestly, I was surprised by these numbers. Some are saying 160, but some of the early tracking boards are saying it's heading for 170 million plus. Wow. Opening weekend. Yeah.
It seems high.
Like, how far removed is it from Deadpool 2?
Not far.
It's about a week. One thing that's going to help it massively is being Memorial Weekend.
That's probably what. All right, I was going to say there has to be something because, I mean, that makes sense then because you just do a double feature.
Depends on the weather.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, just because. Memorial Day, if you celebrate on the actual day, you basically still have the weekend leading up, so that should help.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but if the weather's bad, if it's going to be like just a crappy weekend, then numbers going to shoot right up.
Yeah, exactly. It surprises me, but it's Star Wars. I mean, come on. Up until this point, Star Wars, up until a couple weeks ago, Star Wars has been the number one movie grossing of all time, and that was The Force Awakens. So whether it's the main Skywalker saga, if it's an anthology, it's still Star Wars. It's still going to have the turnout, in my opinion. People are still going to see it. So no.
And there's 2 Wookiees, so double the Wookiee.
Double the Wookiee. That's right. Double the Wookiee, double the fun.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's what they say down at the tavern.
That's right, the Wookiee Tavern. So we'll wait on our predictions for that, maybe till next week or the week after, just because we did the Deadpool 2 stuff last week, so we'll hold off on that. But what do you guys think? I mean, actually, you know what? I want to give some shout outs to some people here in the chat because we have some people who are with us. First, of course, was Jason Smith. We also have Splash Page Comics, who said that Jason wins a popsicle. Jackio's here. He says hello, so hello to you. I already gave a shout out to NES, NES Master 80. Let's see here. Miss Hustle. We have Miss Hustle as well. We have Seawater 19 join us, as well as I saw the Great Legend Show. We have Rag 718. So we have quite a few people with us. I think I said Miss Hustle, but Miss Hustle gets 2 shout outs. She's Miss Hustle.
Hey, Jesse, I just tried to get back in. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
I can hear you. There you are.
Perfect. Right. Oh my gosh, it's a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. It's just a few months late.
Good Lord. Yeah. No, it finally worked. So that's good. So thanks for joining us. I know you're busy, working and, just, doing your thing. So I appreciate you, being able to pop in here. And I thought, like I was telling them, perfect time to do a Star Wars show. And of course, having somebody that is all things Star Wars, the first thing I thought of was you and your podcast. So appreciate you having the time. So I know that we know who you are and who your show is, but do you want to, do an intro and kind of, plug the show and where they can find it?
Oh no, we lost him again.
Oh,
yep. There was audio momentarily.
Sadness fills the room.
Yeah.
Christmas miracle is gone.
Yeah.
Scrooge.
All right.
Name all things Christmas.
That's right. All right. So, shoot. Can somebody send him a message on the side in the comments just to say it's not working? So we're about 2 weeks out from the movie. It premieres on May 15th. And I wanted to tell you guys, I know that those numbers sound pretty good, but just kind of through the history of some of the Star Wars numbers in terms of the box office.
Am I back?
Numbers. Yes. Yep, there you are.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yep.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not sure why it's creating these issues.
Okay,
right.
No worries. Yeah. So, okay, so I was saying, if we know who you are, right? We know who your show is, but for folks watching or listening, do you want to give a plug for your show and say what it's about and where people
Yeah,
can
for
find
sure.
it?
So first off, thank you for putting up with this, and then also allowing me to be a part of the show. No, it's been a great time. We just passed a year doing the show, and episode 37 records tomorrow, so that's really exciting. And we just try and talk about everything that's Star Wars. So we're evolving, which is really nice to see. Right now we do a segment on the show called Staying on Target, where we'll take either the best blaster of the prequel era, or the best stormtrooper, or the the hottest girl in Star Wars, whatever the topic is, but we'll debate that on the show. And that's kind of evolved over time. But we don't just talk about movie news. We try and talk about what's going on in the comics, what's going on in the books. We talk about statues, the Legos, the toys, the hot toys, all that stuff. We try and break down, and really, if it's just interesting to us, we try and bring it up. And of course, we try and have that conversation where if you see something that's really cool, we want you to let us know about that so we can talk about it on the show. Right now, we're not a live show. We record on a Friday. We push it out either late Saturday or early Sunday. But the goal is to go live here in 2018. So fingers crossed, it could happen very, very soon. We're working on it.
Very cool. Nice. I'll tell you, doing it live is really fun because you do have the live chat and people to interact with and chat with, so it's definitely, it brings a whole other element to it, which is a lot of fun. So I think you're going to have fun with it. We were talking about the fact that Solo came onto early tracking this week, and it's projected for 170 million domestic opening. Does that number surprise you?
For a lot of people, I think it's going to be surprising because there was so much concern surrounding this movie. You go back to January of last year, we have Lord and Miller on this project. They have it until June, May, when they're removed from this project, and you bring on Ron Howard there in the summer. And there was a lot of concern because at first he's just doing some minor reshoots, and then he's doing 40% of the reshoots. And now he's basically redoing the entire movie on his own. And we get these behind-the-scenes glimpses. And I really think the 170 is higher than I expected, but I will credit it to Ron Howard's efforts on social media. I think he has restored a lot of excitement and faith in this project because he was kind of pulling back that curtain and letting fans see antics on set and seeing special effects and giving away little nuggets here and there. I mean, we got to see in a recent video with Donald Glover, he took you around the Millenium Falcon and showed you the cape closet. Well, you got to see all the capes like 3 months ago on Ron Howard's Instagram. So that's just one example. But, you get to see Chewie. We thought we saw Mala 4 or 5 months ago. It was towards the end of last year, an Instagram post that Ron Howard posted where we were like, is that Mala? And then we see the trailer come out recently, and there's a head bump with Mala. So
Right.
exciting to see those kind of reveals. So I think, to answer your question, 170, I think is higher than what most expect to be because of all the director issues. But I really do credit Ron Howard with kind of restoring the excitement around this movie. And also the fact that we're just getting the promotional materials. I mean, they had to wait for Last Jedi to get out of everyone's system before they started promoting Han Solo. And this is why I think they should have kept this movie, as they should keep all Star Wars movies now, in December. Give fans a full year to build excitement for the movie, and then give them a year to cool off and get excited for the next.
I agree. I think that December is a really great spot for the movies. I know traditionally it was in the spring, but moving it to December is pretty smart. And kind of giving The Force Awakens a buffer is smart, but at the same time, I was kind of worried. I was like, where's the marketing campaign for this movie? Usually that is, it starts at, Celebration, goes through the fall, it kind of builds into the spring, and that's just like snowballing juggernaut of a marketing thing, but that wasn't really there for this movie. But as you said, it was kind of more of a viral marketing campaign. It was more social media and online. Yeah.
Disney wasn't expecting The Last Jedi to be so divisive.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there who like that movie, and that's great. And there's a lot of people who don't, and that's okay too, because everyone gets their opinion. We still need to be respectful as fans existing in this fandom.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Last Jedi went according to plan, and I think Disney really had to take a moment and really reassess everything. And I think what we're seeing too is a confidence in the Solo movie that I don't think was there in June. And I think that a lot of fan outcry leading up to The Last Jedi, wanting to see Luke Skywalker showcase, for example. Well, that didn't follow through, and a lot of controversy around how that character has been utilized in the sequel trilogy. I think they took a moment to really cleanse the palate for the fans, to make sure that they could kind of leave that hate on the table, and then they could come out and deliver this movie that's going to be built around adventure. It's going to have a Western vibe, and it's going to rely, I think, heavily on nostalgia. But what I like about this is it's not an origin story. It's a Han Solo in progress, and it's a Han Solo developing to become who that character is, who shoots Greedo first in the canteen in A New Hope.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it seems like it's a train heist movie is what I get out of the trailers. But have you heard much about Enfys Nest? That's the villain. You see her on the beach. She's got the mask on. She's the leader of the Cloud Riders.
Right.
I guess there was a big question: is that a male? Is that a female? Like, who is that person? And they just
right now we're led to believe that it's a male character, and it's a I don't want to say powerful, but prominent gangster on the planet. And clearly there's some past there that we're going to learn about. I'm trying to dive into right now the novel Last Shot right now, trying to see if there's any background discussed in that novel. I would highly recommend it to everyone. It's pretty good so far. I'm only about 100 pages into it. But what we know is there's this prominent gang, and
the Cloud Riders, it's supposed to be
some run-in that Solo has had with them in the past. And so I think this is going to be part of that mission that you see in the trailer. Hey, kid, if you join us, you're with us for life. Of course, we see that speeder chase that kind of plays out in the beginning of the trailer as well. So very little is known right now. Again, the Paul Bettany character, I think that's the villain that you need to be concerned about in this movie. I think that Paul Bettany character is going to be the one that really plays a role and will be the lead antagonist in all of this.
Right. No, I agree with that. And they're being purposely vague about that. Now, one of the things that you get to see, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, but the is it Bouche? It's who Leia was in The Last Jedi when she was at Jabba's. Yeah. So it's the one where she had like the weird mask in the front.
Yeah.
And it was one, right? It looks like that there's another version of that, at least in this movie. If you look at the scene where they're on the beach, one of those looks like her. So I think
the
that's
armor looks
cool.
similar, and also we got a lot of Mandalorian influence in this movie.
Yeah.
You see it in the trailers with the bones, with the skeletons. You're seeing the Mandalorian armor in the background of Paul Bettany's character. It's interesting to see those influences involved. No confirmation if that is Boster or not.
Exactly.
I'm even fumbling the name of the bounty hunter character. I was going to say the last tidbit of information we got about that bounty hunter was actually one of those Forces of Destiny shorts that Disney is releasing on the YouTube channel. And it turns out that Maz Kanata actually helped Leia acquire that bounty hunter's armor to infiltrate Hutt's palace there in Return of the Jedi. So that's the latest I know about that character. Now, as far as if that's the same character in the Solo trailer, we don't have that confirmed at this time.
Right. And the other thing is, if Enfys Nest is indeed the leader of the Cloud Riders, that means that they're pulling more out of Legends, which I think is really cool. I know that they were. This would be basically a recanonizing of them. So that's pretty neat. That they're still, there are things that they left in Legends, right? But it's cool that they're still going back to that to pull things.
Well, and Pablo Hidalgo, who is kind of the keeper of the canon, so to say, for Star Wars right now, he's been very vocal about how, it's a business decision. Disney's going to make a new canon so they can sell new books and tell new stories. But it's not like those stories didn't exist. They can pull those characters. They can pull those events, and they can tell new stories with those characters and events. And so I think that's what you're seeing. And Leland Shee is on the storytelling group, and he came out about.
Uh-oh.
Oh, thank you, Rose.
The internet's failing.
Yeah. If you can hear me, David, you froze.
He's getting into it too. He's about to.
Yeah.
I was ready to get some knowledge too.
Yeah, throwing down the knowledge there.
Yeah, no. See, that's why I invited him to the show. He's
we were ready to learn.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to follow whatever he was going to say because I know it was going to be good, but with kind of adding on to what he was saying, the good part is that when you're in the actual Skywalker saga, there's so much left open just between conversations where it's just like, it'll be a little bit of a conversation between Luke and Han in the cantina or something like that kind of gives a little bit of his past, but like it's wide open for them to go ahead and make, like you said, the new canon because of the fact that there's so much unexplored about these characters from, back in the day. I mean, and the good thing too is that there's so much unexplored outside of, the Skywalkers themselves. Like they don't really need, any sort of backstory because you get their whole story pretty much. So this one is pretty cool. I like the way that they're going about it. I don't know about 170 million. Like I think that's a little bit, high of an estimate. But I mean, when you consider the weekend that's coming out, and then also just the fact that there is that excitement there for it, it doesn't seem that it's completely out of nowhere. But I do see a lot more enthusiasm into this than what there was before. So I mean, I know I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited for it. So what I may do is pull a double feature and on that weekend, see Deadpool and Solo, just because that's, I mean, nice long weekend, and you have plenty of time to go ahead and check out both. So
nice, good plan.
That's what my thought is on it. Like we'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe I might, I might see a trailer or two or something like that. I'd be like, you know what? There's nothing going on. It's a rainy weekend. Let's go see Deadpool.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah. So another thing that we can tell you guys is that the planet, a lot of people thought it might be Hoth because it's a snowy planet. It's icy. Yep. Looks really cool. That's where the train is, and the train is called a conveyor. So it's basically like an armored train for the Empire. What they're carrying and what they're trying to get, we have no idea what that is. But the planet is called Vandor, and there's a couple Vandor, Vandor. There's a couple options that they're saying that it might be in the Outer Rim, which the Outer Rim is basically, it's Hutt territory. It's near Kessel. Obviously, we're going to get the Kessel Run, so maybe that's near that. Another option is that it's in the expansion region, which is like the Mid Rim. That would be near Jeddah, that we saw in Rogue One. And then there's another planet called Mimban, which is confirmed to be in the movie. They like to confirm which planets are, and that's also Mid Rim. And then the other thing would be the core area, so Corellia, which is where you have your Corellian trade routes and stuff like that. So I'm not sure where exactly it falls, but it could be any of those, just based on their proximity to other things that we know will be in the movie.
What about I was going to say, because you're talking about the Outer Rim, so I guess is it possible there's two extremes, where you have Vando, that's a cold planet, and I remember from Revenge of the Sith, Mustafar is also on the Outer Rim, but it's a volcano planet. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, obviously you have to have a space map and check it out, but it definitely looks cool. It looks different, and just the fact that you get more of Han Solo, and just to kind of see how he met Chewie, and how he met up with Lando and everything like that. Like, actually, I think Lando, because Donald Glover is a good actor, and because of the fact that they've actually really done a good job putting him in that role, he may be someone that might steal the show a little bit, just because the fact is that he's it seems like they're going to feature him a lot. So I'm looking forward to that relationship between those two. Just to kind of see that friendship, because at this point they should just straight out be friends, but you never know. I mean, one's going to double cross the other one just because of the fact that they're meeting in Empire. I was like, you got a lot of nerve coming here after what you pulled, So I'm looking forward to seeing that, because it's kind of like almost like a buddy comedy a little bit.
Yeah. I like when he says, everything you've heard about me is true. Oh, damn, man. So the other thing that I heard, and this is confirmed, is that Alden Ehrenreich, who plays Solo, he's contracted for 3 films.
Wow.
So what that will be, that tells you that there's more. Who knows what that could be, honestly.
Yeah.
We know Rian Johnson's doing, his own trilogy. Supposed to be something completely different. But who knows? Maybe they'll include him. Maybe it will be an offshoot at that point in the timeline, or maybe it'll be, who we don't know. But it's interesting that he's contracted for 2 more movies after this. So love him or hate him, you're going to be getting more Ehrenreich as Han Solo.
I was going to ask, do you happen to know, or have they given away how old he is in this movie? Like are we looking at an 18-year-old Han Solo, or just because I'm trying to think, his age in A New Hope, I would say was probably maybe mid to late 30s, I guess. Yeah. So are we looking at just kind of fresh into adulthood, or are we looking at just turned maybe 21, 22, so still kind of brash but not quite fully formed Han Solo?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think he's not a kid or a teenager. I don't know if they've said definitively how old he is, but just kind of looking at him, he looks like mid to late 20s would be my guess.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
No idea how Han Solo is as far as the universe is concerned. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe everybody has long lives out there. You never know.
Jack, exactly. A good point, though. He's like Solo trilogy, or possibly he could show up in a Lando movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah.
I think if Lando, if it goes over well, they would be dumb not to go for a Lando movie.
Yeah.
Right. And there is in this a lot of, I've seen Mandalorian armor, and like David said, Mandalorian inspiration. So they could do a Boba Fett movie, which could also have him in it. A
Boba Fett movie would be pretty cool. I mean,
I was saying, when we first heard about Rogue One, I was like, why are they doing that? They should start with Boba Fett. Yeah. But yeah,
have him climb out of the pit and just be like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be cool. Exactly. I mean, Boba Fett opens up a lot of options too, though, just because you have everything after, I guess, everything after the Clone Wars, and then you also have post Jedi, when he's out of the pit and what he's doing with his life after that. But and then they've also kind of people at one point were just kind of, it was more of an internet thing where they were just kind of throwing up any character Solo movie. So it's you had Yoda and Kenobi and all these other ones. It's just
Jar Jar.
It's just
Star Wars story.
It's just one of those things where it's just I know that I think Boba Fett, maybe an Obi-Wan movie, but Boba Fett and Yoda, definitely people would want to see those ones.
Yeah, for sure. So I was talking about 170. I did want to give you a comparison, and that is that there's a couple movies. I know that A New Hope, domestic opening weekend, it did about $1.5 million. And that's not adjusted for inflation. And it progressively goes up from there. Force Awakens was the 247, which is what this beats. or what not this beats, but what Infinity War just beat, and we'll talk about that in. Excuse me, because we did the prediction, so I do have the winner for that. So 247, Infinity War came in officially. I know on the review, Justin, you and I were talking about 250. The official number is 257.6.
Wow.
257.6 takes the number one spot by 10 million. So I do have the numbers here. So let's find out who won. There was a lot of really close ones, actually. Some people went up into the threes. Justin, you were at 250, so you were pretty close.
Nice.
But you were second.
All right.
You were second. Yeah. Chris?
Yeah.
Where are you on here?
I was probably conservative, so I bet you I didn't throw more than
Chris was like $4.
Yeah.
65 cents.
Shoot, I don't see you on here. I don't know if I got a guess from you.
Well, I guess, didn't you guess 157.6?
No, not like that. But, no, yeah. I think I was around 230. I didn't quite think I was going to do that. Yeah, because I remember being conservative about it. But like, felt like I was going to do good, but I mean, nothing earth shattering like it has done. It's just like, can't wait to see where it ends up. Just because I mean, it's the numbers that it's done so far are staggering, and I think from what everyone said, like, they're still waiting on China.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it hadn't opened in the Chinese market yet.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
DC's just over there like banging their head against the wall. Poor DC.
Yeah, exactly. What do we do? Yeah. Strictly Comics, who's not here with us tonight, he predicted 290. Philly Superman said 325. I came in at 285. Who else do we have in the chat with us? I can give you those numbers. Let's see. Comically Flawed said 218. 218. Comic Book Brother, he said 200 even. I think I saw Gomez said 230. NES said 285. Jojo, I don't think he's here. Is he? Is Jojo there? Where's Jojo?
I'm not seeing Jojo.
Okay. Deadpoolica said 300. Fish Tropic said 270. And we have others. Jeremy Edwards 276. But the winner is Brian B.
Oh, nice.
He said 263.
Wow.
Thought we had to get the closest without going over.
No, it's not like blackjack. Yeah. So yeah, 263. So 257, and he guessed 263. So good job, Brian B. You got it. All right, cool. So actually, I was gonna tell you guys some of the other numbers. I know that it was what was that movie called?
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Thank you. You want to take a guess at what that did for opening weekend?
130.
Rogue One. That was, when was that? That was summertime, right?
Was that May?
It was December.
It came out
of December. Yeah.
Okay.
December.
I'm gonna say. I think that it did 148.
Okay.
And if it ends up being exactly, I wasn't looking at anything.
Okay, it was 155.
Oh wow! I was
domestic opening. Yeah, $200 million production budget on that movie.
I would. Oh man. Okay. But if you look at that, they're kind of hedging their bets on Solo, saying it'll do better than Rogue One because there's an original character in it, not the same person playing, but the original character is there.
You got Han and Chewie in there? Come on.
But it's not going to push as far as an actual, the main plot-driven series that we're all waiting for.
Right.
So, I mean, I can see them hedging the bet and saying 170, and that makes sense with the numbers that we've learned here today, everybody, for our Star Wars box office education.
Yeah, that's right. You want to take a stab at what's done over $1 billion worldwide thus far? Lifetime gross.
Which ones or what? What do you mean?
There's 4 movies in the Star Wars franchise who have done over $1 billion.
All right. So
Force Awakens.
Yes, Force Awakens is actually $2 billion, just over $2 billion. So
and Last Jedi has to be another one.
Last Jedi did 1.3 billion.
All right. Let's see.
That's the last two, which is interesting.
It's got to be. I bet you one of them is Attack of the Clones. No.
Close. Attack of the Clones is about 660 billion, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Million. Sorry.
Billion.
Yeah. It's a lot of money. All right, I'll just tell you. I don't want to drag it out too long. It's the Phantom Menace.
Oh,
yeah.
It's done over $1 billion. Yep.
I can see that. I mean, it was the first one after Forever. So
yeah, it makes plenty of sense because I remember that opening weekend. It was I remember the news stories for just like the week before the opening weekend when people were camping out and everything. Like that one had insane amounts of just. I mean, people really were clamoring for Star Wars after such a long drought. But
yeah, exactly. That was the movie that brought the franchise back. Like people never thought they would see one again. That was the one that had at the theater beforehand. You know, people camped out.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah. So Force Awakens, just over 2 billion. Rogue One, just over $1 billion, and then Last Jedi, about 1.3 billion. So yeah. That brings the all-time to over 8 trillion.
Oh, Jesus. That's so much money.
8 billion, I'm sorry. Did I say trillion?
Yeah, you did.
I was about to say trillion.
Yeah, that would be a lot of... my mind is just on other things today. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Yeah.
It was $8 trillion. Like, could you imagine? He's like, dude, we did not... Like, we got the deal of the century.
They made their money back. With interest. Yeah.
It's like, George Lucas, you fool. Do you know what you did?
Yeah.
But
that would be insane.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, do you guys know who Northrop-Grumman is?
Yeah. Who was it?
Northrop-Grumman.
No, I feel like I should though.
They make a lot of they have a lot of government contracts, so they make a lot of military planes.
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
Yes. So they were wondering, I wonder what it would, how could we make a Millennium Falcon? Would it work? What would we have to do that? And how much would it cost? So I want you guys to take a guess while I'm talking about, you guys in the chat as well, or comments later, pause it and write it, what it would cost to build a working Millennium Falcon.
A working Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Right.
So the first thing I'll continue telling is actually the hyperdrive for the ship uses something called hypermatter particles.
Wait.
Yeah.
Let's preference this. They're saying building a working Millennium Falcon
this
as
would be
far as it flies,
theoretical,
or as far as it can actually travel in space.
Flies.
Okay.
Because there's no hyperdrives.
Okay. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
I'm like,
we have
no way to calculate that.
Yeah. So no, just working flying. It wouldn't have to be hyperdrive, like you
right.
shoot to other planets. So what do you get? The hyperdrive, what it actually does is send whatever the ship is into hyperspace, which is actually another dimension.
Event horizon.
Exactly. So it's using these what they call hypermatter particles in the drive to put them into the dimension and then pop them out at the point where they want to go. So obviously that can't exist or doesn't exist right now. So, but the thing is, to be able to do something like that, they have done the calculations, and you would need enough energy, enough mass energy to be the same amount of mass and energy that's in the planet Jupiter.
Or or like a dime of antimatter.
Yeah, you could do the antimatter as well, which I think the aliens are using now, from what I hear. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we can't do that yet, but it's pretty interesting. The people have dove in so deeply and scientifically into the science behind it. So.
I mean, as far as I'm trying to think of a price now. I mean, it's just like, I mean, you would have to absolutely bypass millions. Like, they would, I mean, no, already going into billions. I would have to say to build a working Millennium Falcon that flies.
Yeah, it wouldn't have lasers and it wouldn't have a hyperdrive.
No, but just
but it would fly. It would fly.
So have one that would fly. I mean, even if you outfitted it with just regular weapons like we have here.
Doesn't even need weapons. Just needs to fly and look like the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. Just all right. So for just to fly, I'm saying 15. No, that's too many. I'm gonna say it would cost about $10 billion.
Okay.
That's me. That's what I think.
I'm with you. For one, to build the first one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say $3 billion.
Okay.
Which
2.5 billion is the number.
All right.
And this comes from Northrop-Grumman, who builds ships, so they're pretty good with their estimates, right? They're the ones who do the government.
So don't leave it up to me to price the damn things, because I'll bankrupt everybody.
It was supposed to be you to price those things, and people agree to that.
Yeah, right. No, that was supposed to be an impressive number, but for Chris, it sounds like that would be quite the deal. He's like, shit, I'm saving like $7.5 billion. So that's nice.
I'm gonna drive over to Lockheed tomorrow and ask them how much they could do it for. I'll be like, hey, your competition said they could do it for this. Can you beat it?
Can you beat the price?
Yeah, Lockheed Martin is like less than 5 miles from me.
That'd be crazy.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I would love to see that project come to, just come to completion and be like, okay, so we have a Millennium Falcon flying in the sky. That's all. I mean, just to fly. I don't care if it went just, from, like Boston to LA. That's fine. As long as it flew and you can sit there and say the Falcon's in the sky, makes me happy.
The bad thing is that thing is so unaerodynamic.
I know.
It's just like it's a disc that the front's broken off or something. You know what I mean?
It would have to be like stealth bomber technology with all like the nano stuff on it.
It would have to have
something to stabilize it in our atmosphere.
Yeah, it would have to have like actual like vertical takeoff drives all over it, like a drone. It would have to have a ton of like vertical takeoff jets just to keep it stable.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So we're talking about prices. They're actually putting up Han Solo's blaster pistol for auction in June. And that's the original one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the DL-44. The one it's actually made. It was adapted from a Mauser.
Yep.
Which is a German firearm company. Pretty cool weapon there. They just put all this other stuff on it to make it look techy, but they're saying it's going to sell for anywhere between $300,000 and $500,000.
Yeah, I can see that.
For that, yeah, it's the one that was used on screen in Return of the Jedi.
They're saying how much? 300 to 500,000.
Yep.
I bet it goes over $1 million.
Probably.
I bet
it was going for auction. Absolutely.
Yeah, that'll be up for auction at the end of June, so we can follow that and see.
Yeah,
King of the Golden State. King of the Golden State says you can actually buy a blaster from Target right now. So
right,
you don't have the 500 million. There's a deal for you. It might be a little more plastic than the Mauser gun, but yeah. There you go.
No, that's pretty.
You can buy those on Etsy for like 200.
Yeah.
No, but that's pretty cool though, just to be able to, have it be up for auction and everything like that. But yeah, so some big wig like what's his name, like Nicolas Cage or somebody's gonna go ahead and buy it. And be like, I have Han Solo's blaster.
That's right. It would have to be somebody like that. The market for collectibles and memorabilia at that price, that's a pretty small amount of people.
It's only a few people
can afford that. And I think maybe King of the Golden State might bid on it because him and his big books.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah. So something that was just announced. I know I'm jumping around kind of quick here, but some things just to keep it going. Disney just announced a animated series. It'll be on.
That seems out of character for them.
An animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah. Nobody watched Star Wars Rebels. I don't know.
Going back to the roots or something.
So it's called. It's called Star Wars Resistance, obviously following the Resistance and one particular pilot. But it talks about what led up to The Force Awakens. So there's that whole gap there which was what, like 30 years, I think they said, maybe not.
Yeah.
Anyways, that time in there. And one of the things, Dave Filoni is the one who's making. He did Clone Wars and Rebels. He is very into like World War II planes and stuff. So it's going to be very heavily inspired by that, as well as having an anime inspiration to it.
Oh, nice.
So that's pretty cool. You're going to get like Poe Dameron, Captain Phasma's going to be in there, BB-8, a bunch of people you recognize.
You're going to get a lot of dogfights.
Yeah, which is cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all about that. Yeah. So
those are, when you think Star Wars, a lot of your like most memorable moments are those space battle scenes.
Yep.
And then when you go back and look, the space battle scenes all add up to like 15 minutes worth of movies. You're like, oh.
Yeah. So Trilogy said, let's start a GoFundMe for the blaster. Yeah, we can crowdfund for that. And then Comic Boy says, dang, animated. I was hoping for another show with overacting preteens.
Right.
Wonder if he's thinking about Titans, which is coming up. Actually, I know it's kind of off subject, but they just announced Swamp Thing for DC Digital, which they said is going to be called DC Universe. So,
yeah,
interesting. Swamp Thing is going to be there.
They're about to do a big push for DC Universe.
Mm-hmm.
The app and service and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I thought they were talking about like, announcing movies. I was like, oh, Swamp Thing movie, cool. And then I had to look a little closer. I was like, oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. I don't think that they would. Well, I don't know, maybe. I'm thinking Justice League Dark and then a Swamp Thing movie. I don't know. We'll see. You know how that one is, so.
Yeah.
We'll see, but it's live action though, right?
I believe so, yeah. I think all of those are.
Yeah, okay.
There's 4 of them announced right now. There's Titans. What's the other one? Is it Young Justice? Is that right?
Yep, Young Justice.
Yeah, and then there's a Harley Quinn one as well, which is that one's actually animated. Coughing up a lung.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So,
but it's time they do something, man. Whatever. I hope DC Universe also gives us their version of Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah, I think it's time for that. They need that.
Yes, please. Where you at, DC?
Yeah.
Come on. We will pay a subscription price to be able to read old Batmans. Come on, we will.
Yeah.
We're just like, man. Oh, I heard about the story. Boom! Now I can read it instead of, well, I got to search through like these old massive trades that maybe no one will ever have, or go spend hundreds of dollars on one issue. It's very sad. So, all right, tangent over. Sorry.
Yeah. GPAP's here. Shout out to GPAP. I wonder if they'll come out because the DC Universe name. It's been a couple different things, but one of them was like a UPC variant. It was they were the DC Universe. If you look where the barcode would be for like the newsstands, it's a DC Universe there, and those were only included in like combo packs, like the bags.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually a subgenre that people collect, is those DC Universe variants, and some of them are actually pretty rare. So pretty neat.
It's almost like the new logo that they did back in the 80s. Like some of those are kind of hard to come by too. Yeah,
exactly. Especially in high grades, because like those packs, people like say you're in Walmart or whatever, which is where they had them. People just they don't care about the quality, the collectability of it. They just throw the packs around, which is true for most newsstand. Higher grade stuff is hard to come by. Did you guys know that there is actually where Luke lived underground with his aunt and uncle?
Yeah,
that's actually a hotel now.
What?
Is it?
That was filmed in Tunisia. You can go there and you can stay there and visit and stuff, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
It was that movie and the look and things for that area were very heavily inspired by that area. There's actually one of the regions of the desert is called Tatooine. It's spelled differently, but that's where they get it from. And then there's the Berbers is the name of the people from there. They were very heavily like some of the look for people, like the Jawas. Obi-Wan in his cloak and stuff. That all came from the Berbers, which were the people that lived there, where
That's
they
pretty
filmed
cool.
it. Yeah. So I like hearing about like the on-set stuff and like the inspiration for things. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I like history too. So, but yeah. So you can actually go stay there in Luke's house if you want.
That's awesome.
It's in Tunisia, Northern Africa. So you might, it's a trip. But once you get there, you'll like it. So.
Well, you could just stay in the Star Wars hotel they're building over in Disney, which, from what I've heard and just the different information that they've been releasing, it sounds like it's going to be a really, really cool place to go. I get the feeling that it's going to end up being, one of their top, luxury hotels as far as, the resorts and everything that they have there. But, it is pretty cool to see that they're opening up so much to Star Wars because of the fact of how big of a, just how big of a property it is for them. So it's pretty cool. I'm also looking forward to when they start incorporating more Marvel stuff in. I know that like Universal kind of has, they kind of have a dispute with Universal as far as like, the rides going, all that type of stuff. But, I could definitely see them doing something along those lines at some point. Just, question is when.
Yeah. It'll definitely be cool. What was I going to talk about next? I completely forgot. I'm spacing it today. Oh, Battlefront 2. Do you guys play that? I played on PS4.
Yeah, I have it for PS4.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. They have the campaign mode and some of the stuff. They're coming out with a survival horror mode called Ewok Hunt. That's pretty crazy. So that's gonna be something to look forward to if you like that game. I don't know when it's gonna be released exactly, but I saw some of the shots of it and it looks pretty cool.
Do they have is there like a zombie mode in that game?
No, I guess this is gonna be that.
I think
that's gonna be
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, so would you be hunting down Ewoks, or are they hunting?
No, they're hunting you, so you have to fend them off. So basically, they're the zombies, so they're coming at you. They're trying to eat you.
Nice.
Because they eat people. I mean, let's face it, they were trying to cook people, right?
Sure.
You're a stormtrooper. You're there on Endor, and it's really dark. You don't like have a flashlight or whatever. And then you get these little furry monsters coming at you, trying to eat you.
That's
you
awesome.
Fend them off. Yeah. So
that would make the game worth it right there.
Just sitting there trying to save your life from Ewoks trying to eat you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the true nature of the Ewoks. Forget all that Muppet stuff that they tried to tell you back in Return of the Jedi. These little teddy bears are no joke.
Mm-hmm.
But they were gonna eat them. So yeah.
I just looked it up. So there's two modes for it. So kind of. So you start off as a stormtrooper. When you get and eaten, you're reincarnated as an Ewok, and then you get to go after other people in the world and try to eat them.
Oh wow!
Which reminds me of, I think it was Call of Duty, which was something like that, right? Where you would die and then you would become the zombie. Was that Call of Duty?
No,
not one that I played.
I think no. Was it Dead? Was it What was that
sat there and waited till your buddy was dead.
Left 4 Dead? Was it Left 4 Dead? Left 4 Dead 2, I think you could.
It might have been, yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a cool twist on it. Trilogy's asking about Beta Ray Bill. King of the Golden State says Ewoks are midgets. True story. Yes.
When am I going to throw that Beta Ray Bill comic to you? Am I supposed to throw one to you, Trilogy? I just sent one to Tex.
one of your 50 copies, right?
I'm not saying how many I have.
That was the thing. I mean, that was about 3 years ago. You could have had all the Beta Ray Bills you wanted. Now, you're kind of screwed if you can get one.
Yeah, he's on that Stormbreaker spec.
Yeah, ridiculously. I mean, even before the movie came out, last con I went to, raw copies, people just had them like not great condition or just overpriced. you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying that as a Beta Ray Bill fan, I'm just like, that's too much, guys. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
Oh,
so this weekend, Revenge of the Fifth, Free Comic Book Day.
Yep.
We are getting among other things, of course, a Star Wars book called Star Wars Adventures. It's an all-new story set before A New Hope, and you have a couple scoundrels, and they are out there doing their thing. As you can see from the cover, you have Chewie and Han. So there you go. And that is, what do we say? It's silver?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about this, and we were talking about this, is that it is being put out by IDW.
Yeah.
Versus Marvel. And that kind of confused a lot of people about why is that, it's Marvel. So Star Wars is owned by Disney. Marvel is just the publisher of it.
Mm-hmm.
They actually entered into an agreement. Well, IDW is the one, I guess, who did it. We entered into an agreement actually all the way back in 2015 with Disney to publish or continue publishing some of their properties. Now, one of their focuses is a much younger demographic, which this falls into. This, like, it's Star Wars Adventures. If you go to your comic shop, you're going to find this more in like the kid shelf area, like the Invader Zims and Adventure Times. This will be next to that, right? So that kind of fits within that wheelhouse for IDW in terms of their properties. So it started off as Disney stuff. And it evolved into this younger demographic type of stuff for Star Wars. I remember a couple of years ago buying like a micro comic for Star Wars, and it came with like 3D glasses and stuff. And this is just kind of like a continuation of that. And they've actually had an agreement with a couple others as well. Like they actually have a license for Cartoon Network stuff.
Yeah.
Even though that is owned by Warner Brothers, which owns DC, you would think, okay, DC should publish that, right? But no, they have that to a different publisher. Maybe they have their publishing maxed out at this point, or they just like that focus that they have on the younger stuff. But that's kind of how it starts. Does that make sense? That differentiator there. The big thing there is that younger demographic. Like like Donald Duck, Uncle Scrooge, things like that to start with.
And that makes sense. I mean, most of the time you get anything that says adventures in the title, it is aimed for a younger audience. So I can see that.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I remember seeing, I'm
clicking on that.
Uncle.
What the hell is that?
I remember seeing like the Uncle Scrooge stuff on IDW, and then also, I wanted to see. I thought it was Dark Horse maybe that had the Star Wars Adventures stuff, but I guess it is IDW as well. Like it's just like I've seen it before, where there's Star Wars titles that aren't quite, that aren't the ones that are being put up by Marvel. So I've seen it before.
Well, Dark Horse was publishing stuff. That was all the Legend stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Yeah, so they had it with Lucasfilm or whatever. But then when Disney bought it, it all went, to them. So there is an advertisement on the side, which I will not be clicking on.
I was trying not to like. I was like, oh my god, I gotta see.
Let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so this is the book. All right, I don't know why people are focusing on that instead of the book. Y'all are perverts. No. So here's the title there. So is this something you guys might pick up?
Maybe.
No.
Here we go. Here's a preview. What? Hunter versus Hunted.
It depends on the number of books I'm allowed to get.
Okay. My store likes to cap us off at 3, and then it's just like, oh, so when you have to make that kind of decision, something always suffers. But, it depends. It depends on what else is out there. What else looks interesting. But I mean, if it's something where I can probably score more than just the mandated 3, I would take a look.
Mm-hmm. We got a cool preview of this thing here.
I know it's pretty. Was it like give it at least like 2-3 pages?
Yeah.
Oh, it says Pew on it.
Pew pew. Yeah, I'm down towards the end here. There's that that $300,000 pistol.
Yep.
The DL-44. So
I mean, it looks pretty good for what it is, but nah.
Like I said, it's ultimately for a younger demographic, so it's not going to be reading some of the chat, the comments there. So it may not be something, you know, targeted for us, you know.
No.
But you know, it looks like fun. So yeah, pretty much it. So we got you know, what do we have? We have May the 4th tomorrow, Star Wars Day. So, you know, wrap your Star Wars when you go into work, you know, Friday, wear your Star Wars shirt. And then hit up your comic shop this weekend. Free comic book day. Wear your sombrero because it's Cinco de Mayo. And then Revenge of the 5th. So you can, you know, celebrate Star Wars Day with some margaritas and then recover on Saturday at your shop.
I also was going to say, if you have Barnes & Nobles near you, check them out too, because they like to do stuff for May the 4th and everything like that. So there may be something going on at one of those stores, maybe something where it's just like if there's trades or just you know, novels, stuff like that, they may be discounting them. And then they also have a lot of action figures and Funko Pops, you know, for Star Wars there as well. So you know, go to Barnes & Noble, check them out, because they may actually have some stuff on sale, or you know, it's just some exclusive stuff for May the 4th.
Good reminder, Chris. Good reminder.
I'm telling you, Barnes & Noble is. I'm telling you, Barnes & Noble is definitely a place to check out if you have anyone nearby, because they have pretty good deals on trades, and then on top of that too, like you can end up picking up some pretty good books, you know, for a lot cheaper, depending on you know, if there's something that they're looking to move out, or like same thing with like Pops and stuff like that. Like they're always having sales and they're always having you know, discounts and stuff like that. So you know, they're good to check out, especially for you know, comic and pop culture type stuff.
Cool.
And
yeah, make your rounds.
Like, huh? Is it? And if you need to, you know, brush up on like Romeo and Juliet or like the classics, they got that stuff too.
I mean, I'll definitely also be going to like Second and Charles.
Yeah,
they'll do the free comic book day stuff, plus they'll have everything at like a ridiculous sale price. So I'm pumped about that. Unfortunately, my shop. I mean, cool thing is my shop is going to have, like I said, guys, I'm lucky where I live. Mark Bagley's going to be at my shop signing.
Bagley, nice.
Yeah, Van Jensen's going to be there. They have a list of people that are going to be there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot going on, but no sale.
That's all right.
Yeah, I know. Wow. But just think of how many more people, how much more they could move of the stuff that isn't going to move, you know.
Yeah, if it was on sale, absolutely.
It is what it is. So I'll be hitting multiple shops. You know, a big decision for me in the next like day and a half or so here is to figure out what book I want to get signed by Mark Bagley. You know, that's a tough decision.
Yeah, that's I wish I had that problem. I wish I had that dilemma.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know. It's just gonna be. I mean, it's probably just gonna be a Spider-Man book from when I started reading Spider-Man. You know, so that way I can be like, hey, you influenced the rest of my life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, when there's always a question or it's up in the air, go with something that has meaning to you. You know, it doesn't have to be valuable, but if it has some, you know, significance to your story and your life, you know, whatever that is for you, that's probably the best choice.
The early Carnage stuff, I think, was him, right?
I mean, he was all over a lot of Spider-Man, and especially in like, you know, late 80s, early 90s there. So I don't know specifically, but it'll probably be an amazing Spider-Man that I take to him.
Cool. All right, guys. So I put a link in the description for this video for that free comic book day issue. If you wanted to check out the preview on your own, there is a link here for that. The other thing I want to mention to you as well, this show is brought with help from you guys, but also from our friends at Comic Skins. And they did send me a couple of these really cool backing boards here. They're clear. I know you guys have seen these before.
Yeah,
cool. So they're great for, you know, wraparound covers and stuff like that. And they are, you know,
I need so many of
archival
those
quality.
I need so many of those for X-Men books.
Yes.
It just, for whatever reason, X titles seem to have wraparound covers.
Yes. One of the winners of my contest, which will have the drawing this weekend, will be getting one of these packs of this. But if you did want to check them out, it's comicskins.com. And if you use the code JLS2, you get $2 off of one of these packs. So you'd be saving, you know, a good percentage of what these cost. So if you want to check them out, there's a code for you to use. And you know, there's a link for that in this video as well. And the other thing I put in the description is a link for Amazon if you want to check out some cool stuff around Star Wars and Han Solo. There's like a Solo official guide. You know, those really cool hardcover books that they do for like the art of, and they have the movie stuff, the concept art, posters. So there's a link for that in there as well. And then some of the novelizations for some of the recent stuff as well, like Smuggler's Run. There's a link here as well. It's all in one link, so just click on the one thing. But you can buy the soundtrack, the motion picture soundtrack for Solo. So a lot of cool stuff to check out after the show. And I think we pretty much said what we're going to be doing. I know, Chris, you said you're going to be having a maybe a top 10 type of thing coming up on your channel.
Yeah. I will be showing one of my top 10 books that I picked up at the most recent con that I went to last weekend. So I'll be showing the books I picked up there, and there's a top 10 book in there. Cool. And other than that, you know, hopefully hitting the shop for, you know, the free comic book day, and then just, you know, enjoying my weekend. So pretty much look out for a video coming up, you know, pretty soon with that stuff in there.
Awesome. And then Justin, you said you're going to be traveling around LCS and Second and Charles, making the rounds. Yeah.
Several shops will be hit on Saturday. A tank of gas will be burned.
There we go. And then Sunday Morning Comics is going to be crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, yeah.
You should do like an 8-hour show where you're just like driving around like live the whole time.
Right. I should. That would be fun. We'll see if we can make that happen at some point.
Yeah.
But no, it'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of good stuff there. And guys, I do want to say this: if you are going to your shop, those books are free for us, but there is a cost for the shop. One of the points of this is a draw to the shop so that we can support them. So if you're there, you know, if you can't, you can't, but you know, really try to buy something there while you're there. You know, try to support them. Yeah.
Buy a random new book you didn't get this week. You know,
that's right. Yeah. Something, yeah.
And if you can't do that, buy a back issue. Doesn't matter what back issue hit the dollar bin. It's been, look, buying $3 worth of books, and I got a whole stack of free books on top of it. $3 ain't gonna hurt you.
No, I always have so much more fun when I buy back issues than new books.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Yeah, but and then I think next week we'll do the actual predictions for this movie, but we're gonna skip that today. So,
all right.
And then Monday.
What's happening on Monday?
There's a bit of a fanboy fight club.
Yeah. Some people might be debating on Monday. Yeah, so it's myself and Justin on Lords of the Long Box. Fanboy Fight Club, Spawn versus Ghost Rider.
That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even know which one to go with. Like, as far as I mean, and that's a hot pot for me because it's like I'll be watching it. Like, who do I vote for? I love Ghost Rider and I love Spawn, so it's just I mean, I don't know.
Hell of a good time.
It's up to you guys. Yeah, exactly. I like what you did. It's gonna be up to you guys to try to sway me because I'm gonna tell you, like, right down the middle right now, I can't pick one over the other.
We'll truly be playing devil's advocate for both sides.
Yeah. You know, I gotta say, I'll say it now. I like both characters. Yeah. So it's gonna be tough for me to like talk shit about Ghost Rider.
Yeah. No. I mean, and you know, preferences same for me. I mean, you grew up with both of them. They were both there. Like, I don't have necessarily a stronger tie to either, but Ghost Rider's mine. I will bring it for Ghost Rider.
All right, it's on. All right, that all happens on Monday night, Lords of the Long Box. Cool. All right, guys, that'll do it for this show. This is episode 83. This has been a Star Wars celebration, all things Solo. and Star Wars.
Nice.
All right, guys. We'll be back next week for episode 84. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone.